We had a half an hour to speak about the trends that we are seeing in humanity today, the forces of, one can say, destructive tendencies that could be traced back to the workings of the dweller. On the one hand, the Luciferic tendencies, on the other, the Ahrimanic tendencies. And we opened up a discussion on the different manifestations that we're seeing outside in the world today. And we came up with many of the forces that are, in a certain sense, subjugating humanity and controlling and manipulating and restricting and blocking the natural evolution and awakening of the human eye. This is not something that is only true, relevant for our time, but it has accentuated, it has become so intensified in this time through the advance of technology, through the advance of, I would say, esoteric materialism, if you want to call it that, material esotericism, where there are clearly humans who are very conscious of the transformative powers of the human eye and the dangers that would bring to those who wish to control life on the earth. And so you see, on the one hand, the Ahrimanic powers of material wealth and the power of force through armaments and through weaponry of different kinds, as well as through fear, controlling humanity through many different means and ways of fascist, totalitarian censorship and mind control, and forcing human beings to become sleeping and compliant slaves, in a way, of the masters that rule them. And what we're seeing now is, on the other hand, the Luciferic influence, which is making the human being the Godhead. Belief that the human being, in its enormous capacity to understand and to know things, could be greater than the Godhead. Lucifer, who challenged Almighty God, was under the illusion that he was greater or as good, and he would not bow down before. And so was thrust down. And where was he thrust down? Right into the human soul, thrust into the earthly realm, where he offered the human being freedom. Offer the human being freedom to be free of the Godhead and to be able to make the choices themselves, which is what Adam did, the first human being to succumb to the Luciferic influence. And then it was a free-for-all. And this is where we are today, free to choose whether you are a male or a female. unbelievable. Whether you can choose to lose control and become a murderer. Whether you can choose to beat your wife and even sell your children. So we see the powers that are reigning here, taking the human being away from the real truth that stands between the over egoism of Lucifer and the power and force of Ahriman, where these two are working very close together. And we come to the realization that it is vitally important to name what's going on. Transhumanism is a force that wants to substitute for human beings with robotic intentionalities, with power over the brain to control thinking, that there are other higher minds that are not of the God, but of the human, in some way creations of machines that will outdo human beings. And we're seeing these artificial intelligence now programs that are actually offering superior intelligence to every person, making them feel that they are either carrying that knowledge, which they're not, or that they are dependent on this higher intelligence to create the right form of the essay, or even do the job for you, which means essentially that you are going to be lamed in your soul, in your thinking, in your feelings, and in your actions. When the robots do everything for you, what are you there to do? When the AI thinks for you and creates and choreographs and actually gives you the book, what are you then needing to do? We have to name it for what it is, and we have to be the master and stand behind this to not allow that intelligence to take over from us. Thank you. That concludes this section.